And welcome back to another video on the Wrestle Debate and to the Raw out of 10 after WrestleMania. Yeah, WrestleMania, I think it went down really well. Really good WrestleMania. Definitely one of the better ones in a while recently. So yeah, lots of hype coming off the back of it. And obviously we've got so much to discuss. I can't even get into it now because I'll be here all day. So let's get straight into it. This kicked off with Cody Rhodes after a short recap. The cheers were deafening as Rhodes got into the ring and said that his decision to return wasn't difficult. He admittedly signed a multiple-year contract with the company, having left them in the dust. Cody brought up his dad and showed us a picture of Dusty Rhodes with the World Championship at MSG in 1977. Rhodes teared up as he said that his dad was his hero. But he was here for himself and not for his dad. Seth Rollins then came out in a shiny pink suit and danced around for a bit before staring Cody. The latter held out his hands. Seth shook it and walked out after shaking his hands. Yeah, serene start to Raw, to be honest. But good to see Cody back. It's still surreal. But a really good start to Raw, and hopefully that's that feud done and Cody can move on to bigger and better things. The new women's tag champions Sasha and Naomi were out to face Rhea, Ripley and Liv Morgan in a number one contenders match. And yeah, the match kicked off straight away. Ripley got an early near fall off Naomi off vertical suplex before Banks was tagged in. Ripley was isolated in the corner. Naomi came back with a big splash off the corner before Liv came in and broke the pin. Banks took out Morgan on the outside before Ripley went outside to beat up the boss. Naomi then took out Ripley and checked on Banks before sending the Nightmare back in the ring. After a break, Banks and Morgan's tagged in and Banks was hit with a double team assisted powerbomb. Sasha then got up and made the tag to Naomi before hitting a two-face palmbuster on combo on Morgan to get the win. And yeah, after the match, Ripley was mad at Morgan and ignored her before walking out alone. The latter then chased after her. And yeah, that was the end of the segment. But yeah, it gets a 6 out of 10 from me. Decent little match. Hopefully this is the start of good stuff for the women's tag team titles. I'm not actually convinced, but for what this was, it was fine. 6 out of 10. Kevin Owens then made his entrance and was next on Raw, saying he made a mistake by underestimating Stone Cold. Kerry said that he hurt himself while lifting weights before the show and decided to risk it, thinking beating Austin would be easy. Owens then said his loss should be removed from his record. Before we got the arrival of Ezekiel, it turned out to be Elias without the beard. I dead ass didn't recognise him at first, it's been that long, and he claims to be Elias' younger brother. Owens kept insisting it was Elias, while Ezekiel instead said he knew who he was. The two argued about it, and Corbin called him a liar, waiting for Ezekiel to get him out of the ring. He gave him a 10 count, and then Owens counted down, and he left. Yeah, this was a weird segment, but it does seem maybe Elias Owens is that a feud. It'd be a big thing for Elias or Ezekiel, but yeah, this was very strange. I think I'm going to have to wait to see where it goes before I comment further. Dominik versus The Miz was up next. Dominik got some big in early and set up a 619, but Miz cancelled it, hitting the skull-crushing finale, getting a very quick win. After the match, Ray was checking in on his son in the ring when Veer finally made his debut. The Miz made a run for it before Mahan wiped out Dominik with a kick and took down Ray with a massive clothesline. Mahan then hit a big suplex on Ray before locking on a chokehold on Dominik, knocking him out. And yeah, Veer's finally made it, and going right after Ray Mysterio, not a bad debut at all. Yeah, this match was just very quick, but it kind of feud ender and moved into that. And I'm not opposed to it. Be interesting to see where it goes. Bianca Belair then came out and said that she would still be a champion if not for Becky Lynch humiliating her at SummerSlam when Lynch made her return. She said that the audience deserves to see Belair as the champion, not as the far more celebrated superstar, as well as a member of the Four Horsewomen, Becky Lynch. Before we got Dolph Ziggler versus Braun Breaker for the NXT Championship, weirdly. Yeah, just a way to put Braun Breaker over, really. Breaker had the early advantage and sent Dolph Ziggler outside after a belly-to-belly suplex. Back in the ring, Ziggler was in control, but took a big sidebuster, but tossed him across the turnbuckles. After a break, Ziggler ate more suplex before Breaker got the lariat and set up for the finisher. Ziggler tried to get a roll-up off a distraction, but Breaker kicked out and hit a dive onto Robert Roode on the outside. Back in the ring, Ziggler got the zigzag for a near fall. He was trying to get the super kick finisher, but Breaker cancelled the spear and got the gorilla press power slam to become the new champ. And yeah, I didn't see this happening at all, really. But losing at Stand and Deliver, maybe he should have won it there, and that should have been the rematch and then feud ending. But yeah, it still does feel kind of weird. But Breaker getting the win in front of a big crowd, it kind of does make sense. 7 out of 10. MVP was out next and said Bobby Lashley has proved that he is still the Almighty by beating Omos last night. Lashley came out and was bragging about his win before Omos made his entrance. Omos wanted a rematch and MVP attacked Lashley with the help of Omos, and the two destroyed the former champ. They left Lashley lying in the ring before celebrating. And yeah, I didn't see this coming, especially after Lashley's little tribute to MVP at Mania. But definitely an interesting tale, and this could be exactly what Omos needs, a new partner to do all the talking for him. And yeah, it could really help him. And yeah, it extends the feud as well, so I'm not opposed to it, but yeah, definitely interesting to see where it goes. I thought the Hurt business was great together though, so Lashley may suffer for this. Backstage, Liv Morgan and Ripley set their differences aside and agreed to work together once more. Jesus Christ. Carmella and Zelina Vega were out next, and Corey Grove threatened to Chris Rock, his commentators, if they spoke ill about Mella. Zelina blamed Carmella for last night's loss and called Grove a fool for wanting to marry her. Mella grabbed the mic and said that she will demote Zelina from a bridesmaid to a flower girl before the two started brawling. Carmella ran to ringside to Graves, but she was wiped out by Zelina. Lawrence walked out and Grave was consoling Mella before they kissed. Yeah, very weird segment, but all the tag teams seem to be breaking up. Next week they'll probably be together again. I mean, as I said, the women's tag division is a mess. The Usos were then making fun of Austin Theory backstage and said that he should be embarrassed. Austin said that McAfee got lucky and that he was going to destroy Balor tonight and prove himself to Mr. McMahon before he got RK Bro and Finn Balor versus the Usos and Austin Theory. Balor and Uso kicked off the match and Balor managed to get a basement dropkick and tag in Riddle for a double team. Riddle then got on the apron and tried for a dive, but Theory went around him and dropped him. After a break, Riddle was beating in the ring before tagging in Randy, who came in and cleared on the apron before getting the draping DDT on Jimmy. Orton then set up for RK, but Theory came in with a drop kick. Both teams were then rushed the ring when Theory got an ATO on Balor for the victory. And yeah, good one for Theory, puts him over a bit. But yeah, in terms of the match itself, it was okay, nothing really to shout about. But for what it was fine. 6 out of 10. Edge was out next and said he didn't expect Damian Priest to be there and help him win his Mania match. Edge said that he and Damian had a lot in common before calling him to the ring. Priest joined him and said that Edge's message resonated with him and he pledged his loyalty to the Hall of Fame, and they agreed that the fans thought that he didn't matter, calling them the sheep. Edge said that AJ Styles wanted his revenge, but it's unwise of him. Styles then all of a sudden came out, he took out Damian and sent him over the barricades before taking on Edge. Styles sent Edge into the ring post before getting 2 steel chairs, but Priest came back and attacked him. Styles was being kicked down in the corner by Damian before he and Edge hit the double team spear on the Phenomenal One. Edge was going to a concerto and a group of officials came in and stopped him. But yeah, this was good stuff. Really puts Edge's new grove over, and excited for Damian Priest. He deserves opportunities to work with a legend like Edge, and yeah, sets up the rematch for WrestleMania Backlash. The Street Profits and the Alpha Academy then had a Tornado tag team match. Alpha Academy attacked the Street Profits right away and the tag team rules were being broken as the brawl kept going. Pierce came out and put the match as a Texas Tornado, meaning that this match will have no DQ and no tags. In the ring, Otis and Montez were battling in one corner while Anjo and Chad were on the other. Otis came in for a splash on Dawkins before Gable got near full. Alpha Academy then set up forward and the table for a ring, but Dawkins stopped Otis from getting the splash. Gable ended up on the table thanks to Dawkins, and it was Ford who hit a splash through it, getting the victory. Yeah, gets 6 out of 10 from me. Pretty basic tag team match. Put the Street Profits over despite their loss. Yeah, not much else to say really. Roman Reigns was out next as the Undisputed Champion and asked Heyman to elaborate on the Bloodline's success so far in the business, leading up to Reigns' victory. Reigns said that he was the last needle mover and was always operating on God mode. He added that he was not ready to reveal his next step in WWE before asking fans to acknowledge him as Raw went off the air. And yeah, just a basic promo for Roman Reigns, but one that really put him over as the guy in WWE, which he undisputedly is these days. So yeah, good stuff. And yeah, so exciting for Roman as 2 champions now. Interested to see where it goes. But yeah, just for the start of his reign, short, sharp, simple promo. Good stuff. So yeah, on the whole, enjoyed it a lot. Overall, Raw this week gets a 6 out of 10 from me. Yeah. I don't know, I was kind of expecting a bit more from this episode of Raw after such great Mania. I thought we were going to have maybe a bit more of an exciting Raw, but it turns out we didn't. I mean, hopefully we'll have more surprises coming on SmackDown, like Oscar and Bayley, etc. But for Raw under WrestleMania, it's a bit underwhelming, but it was okay. But anyway, guys, that's the video. Thanks for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Any thoughts, comments, down below. Thanks for watching me for daily wrestling news and content channels, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.